What's going on, Knights Nation? I'm your host, Chandler Haney. We got Chris producing it behind the camera, and we have a very special guest today, my friend David Young, student director of the esports program. And many of you may not know that we even have an esports program, but now that it's got legs, I'm excited to have David here to kind of talk about it. So, yeah, what is your? I want to start out what's your kind of relationship to video games in general?
So I've been playing video games pretty much my whole life. Started out when I was around 4 years old. I would go over to my cousin's house. He would have his PlayStation 2 up, and I would start out just watching him play, and I was enamored by it. And then eventually, when I got a little older, he gave me the controller,
Yeah.
and I've been playing ever since. I've done competitive games for at least 10 years now. I started out with the console Overwatch League. I played with a team, just a bunch of random guys we met in a Discord server, played there. The new Smash Ultimate game came out. I started going to locals for that. I got into competitive Rocket League and then came to Bellarmine when I found out we had an esports program, and been doing this, loving this, worked my way up and got into this position where I'm at now, student director.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what kind of did your high school or middle school ever have a esports scene, or was it kind of just you kind of freelancing it? And
So it's an interesting thing about that. When the Switch came out, we played all the time on the Switch. Every, that 5 minutes you had before class started, I was with my friends playing on the Switch. But we never had an actual esports program. It didn't exist yet at my high school.
Mhm.
But the previous director of esports here, Ben Subcheck, he had reached out to me because I had been applying to Bellarmine, and he was letting me know about their first annual Bellarmine Esports Invitational for high school, and that's on their third year now. But he was letting me know about the first one, and I was like, I don't have an esports team here. Can I make one? And he was like, sure, get one of your teachers, get some friends together, and you can make your team and just come, even though you haven't been participating in any league. So that was actually the start, and I started pretty much
That's
the league
awesome.
that we have and the esports team that's still going on now at my high school.
Wow.
And so I was pretty much a pioneer for that. But we competed, we actually beat one of Manuel's teams. We were
There we go.
completely unknown, but we were pretty good, and so we got some crazy upsets and
There you
actually
go.
placed fourth out of the whole competition for the
16
first
to 1
annual.
upset.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you've always been kind of in the driver's seat of esports programs.
I would say so, yeah. It's
That's
always been a
awesome.
big passion for me. I've wanted to get into esports for a while now, and so any chance I get to try and be a driver for that, I definitely jump at that opportunity.
Yeah. So, esports team, you guys kind of here in the last couple of years, you've gotten a whole facility downstairs. Looks
Yep.
nice. Looks really, really good. I've seen some photos. You've got Mitch started the Bluegrass Esports Conference, so there's that going on. So it looks like things are trending up for that. What is what is the difference that you've noticed from when you got here to what you and Mitch have made now?
Yeah. So when esports first started out, we were pretty small. It was, even before I came here, it was just an Overwatch team that we had, and people were just playing at home. And so once I came here, we started production on the esports facility that we have now. We were able to expand our teams, get a running Discord, get that active. We started our Smash teams, our Valorant, Overwatch. We've been circling through different leagues. There's not a single unifying league for esports at the collegiate level. So I think we started out at NACE first. It's National Association Collegiate Esports, and then we moved to ECAC, where we're competing now for most of our games. And so I think it's just the growth has been exponential, and we love to see it. We've kept getting more students. We've got the most ever players that we've had in our esports program here, and we're expecting even more next semester. So it's really the growth. Honestly, I think we're running out of space right now in the facility room that we have right now. Just the students that we have, there's always people in there lined up on the computers playing Smash, hanging out, and so it's really been great to just see the growth and the passion from the people in esports.
So what is your guys' hope for the near future and the long-term future of the program?
So I think really trying to get ourselves integrated with the Bluegrass Esports Conference. I think one of the most valuable aspects of esports is the in-person aspect, building that community and that relationship.
Yeah.
Obviously, esports, it's mostly going to be played online. You're playing on video games on a computer.
Yeah.
But when you're able to actually get in person and compete across the table from somebody and
Yeah.
be able to create that connection and that rivalry, it really builds that community. And so
Right.
with the Bluegrass Esports Conference, our partnerships with UK, they have a great facility that we use, as well as Olympus Gaming Lounge when we're able to get teams out there
Yeah.
to go and compete in person. I think that's really where we're hoping to go. Build that up with community, with Kentucky Esports, build a community around that and get us playing in person. That's where we are really trying to see it go.
Just a quick side note. I know you guys recently had a competition where you were at the University of Kentucky facility. What was
Yes.
that? Was that Bluegrass Esports?
Yes, that was the penultimate event for the Bluegrass Esports Conference.
Yeah.
So it was our first, it was the first season of the league. We had only Overwatch. We just wanted to test the waters, didn't want to add too much.
Yeah.
But we had an online league where we had a bunch of Kentucky colleges, UK, U of L, Bellarmine, obviously. And we had an online league that ultimately ended up with an in-person tournament that we had hosted at UK's Cornerstone facility.
Wow.
And so just getting everybody in there, we had the game streamed, and it was just an awesome experience to get to see that and all of us come together who've been working on the Bluegrass Esports Conference, be able to meet and run that in-person event, and we're hoping to do more in the future.
For sure. And then I want to ask you, for someone that's like more in the know of like the insides of the industry, like what do you think has the industry kind of matured? Like, is it right now what it is? Is that what it's going to be for a while, or do you see like any more like explosive growth or in the future for it? Or
So I think right now we're in a consolidation period for esports. Post-COVID, there's been some struggles financially for different esports organizations, but there's also been growth in certain areas. Specifically, Saudi Arabia has been pumping money into esports recently. They opened up the Esports World Cup where they have teams from all over the world competing in that. But I think on the individual level, certain companies that have been running for a while, you might think of like your Phases, your Team Liquids, those guys, they've been doing good, but it hasn't been the best for them, so they're working to consolidate, kind of open up different avenues, going inside of the merchandise route. So I think they're on the individual level, they're downsizing, but as a whole, I think esports is still growing and still getting big.
yeah.
And something to look out for, there was a recent company that had sprouted called the United States Esports, and we're still waiting to see what they're doing, but I think it's definitely interesting to keep an eye out for growth in the U.S. esports.
Yeah. And then I had a question for you, more so like you personally. Like, is this is this your career path? Like, is this what you're gonna go into? And like, what's your plan?
I hope so. I think for the longest time, my ultimate dream has been to own my own esports organization and own my own team.
Okay.
As esports kind of continues, I have to be realistic about those goals and see whether or not like actually making a team is going to be financially responsible, whether it's going to be a good path to go down. But I've also, as I've been, growing in college and learning about the different avenues for esports careers, I've been getting into event management. I've absolutely loved running events here at Bellarmine, and then off campus we ran an event for Western, as well as coaching. I've done some work inside of Bellarmine. I've helped coach some teams outside. And so there's definitely a lot of different avenues that it can go. And while I still ultimately would love to run an esports team, I think being realistic with that goal and understanding the different routes, even if it is, going into a different path, I'd still love to make esports in some way attached to my career path.
Yeah, love that. And then kind of circling back to the growth thing I was going to say, I feel like it's got to get bigger because you just think about the amount of kids that like video games are like a part of like most people's lives. It defies logic to me that it would not at some point become a really big like entertainment watchability value. You know what I mean?
And I think the important thing is as people grow up with video games and they see what it's truly can be, it's going to be better once these younger people start getting into positions of power. Right now, esports in any capacity isn't NCAA sanctioned. It's not a sport in collegiate, so most of the stuff that we do is grassroots or alternative.
Right.
But once these kids who have grown up with esports know what it is, know that it's not just mindless violence and gore, they're going to see the advantages to having esports in their programs, and so it's definitely going to grow as the younger generation grows up and sees the value in esports. So I'm really looking forward to that.
And as we keep breaking like stigmas that
Mm-hmm.
surround it.
Yeah, gamers aren't all just big sweaty guys in their mom's basement. No,
well, David, I think we're just about running out of time. So,
All
is there, if someone wanted to become involved with Bellarmine Esports, what would they need to do?
I'd say if you're wanting to get involved with Bellarmine or really any college level esports, it's talk to people, find out who your athletic directors are, find out which teachers or staff are interested in esports, get some friends together and do some research into the leagues. If you're in Kentucky, reach out to the Bluegrass Esports Conference. We can get you in.
Self-plug.
Just just really getting in communication, just getting the ball rolling. I think just finding the game that you want to play and finding people to play it with is definitely going to be how you want to go. If you're looking for Bellarmine, shoot Greenwell, shoot me an email, and we can get you started in esports. So,
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. And for you guys watching, thank you for making us part of your day. I'm Chandler. This is David.